Show your birth chart to 2 different astrologers and you can walk away with 2 different readings. One says you're a dreamer who leads with feeling. The other says you're a fast starter who acts before the feeling arrives. Same chart, same birthday, same sky. That gap is the reason a lot of people decide astrology is made up. It isn't. The disagreement lives in one specific place, and once you can see where, 2 questions will tell you whether any reading was built with care or thrown together. This is the Birth Chart Lab, where the goal is a chart you can read for yourself. 3 things this time: where 2 readings split, the choices that make them split, and how a careful astrologer closes the gap instead of papering over it. Start with what the 2 astrologers agree on, because it's more than you'd think. The positions themselves aren't opinions. Both of them, and every serious app, compute your chart from the same Swiss ephemeris, the calculation engine from Video 4. Feed it your birth date, time, and place, and your sun lands on the same degree every time. Nobody is arguing about where Saturn sat when you were born. That part is astronomy, and it settles arguments the way a ruler settles a measurement. The split starts the moment the math stops. A chart hands you dozens of placements at once, 10 bodies, 12 houses, a web of aspects. No reading can say everything, so every astrologer decides what leads, what supports, and what stays in the drawer. Those decisions are the reading. 2 readers ranking the same wheel differently will hand you 2 different portraits, and both can point at real placements to back themselves up. Watch it happen on Maya, the chart this series works with. Her sun sits at 24 degrees Pisces and her moon at 25 degrees Cancer, both water signs. An astrologer who weights the sun and moon heaviest reads her as feelings first, intuitive, absorbent, someone who processes the day through what it felt like. That portrait is accurate. Every placement in it is real. Now hand the same wheel to someone who weights the ascendant, the self that meets the world first. Maya rises at 9 degrees Aries, and her Mercury sits at 10 degrees Aries right beside it. This reader calls her direct and quick off the mark, speaks fast, starts fast, leads with motion. Also accurate. Also real placements. Neither one is wrong. They walked into the same house through different doors and described different rooms. Weighting drives most of the gap, but the toolkit differs too. Take house systems. The houses, the 12 life areas from the house series, can be divided up more than one way. Placidus slices the sky by time. Whole sign gives each sign a full house, and there are others. Switch systems and a planet near a boundary can land in a different house. Same planet, same degree, but now it's talking about your career instead of your friendships. Orbs work the same way. An orb is the wiggle room an aspect gets, how far from exact it can be, and still count. One astrologer allows 8 degrees, another cuts off at 5, so an aspect exists in the first reading and simply isn't there in the second. Rulerships split people too. Traditional astrology gives Scorpio to Mars, modern astrology gives it to Pluto, and the story of a whole house can shift with that single assignment. So how do you tell a strong reading from a sloppy one? A sloppy reader cherry picks. They grab whichever placement fits the story they've started telling and skip the ones that argue back. A strong reader does the opposite. They declare their rules up front, which house system, which orbs, what leads, and then they let the chart argue with itself. When your moon wants privacy and your rising sign wants motion, they don't pretend one of them away. They tell you which one runs which part of your life and why. Which brings back those 2 questions from the top. First, what system and what orbs are you using? Anyone reading charts should answer that in one sentence, and that includes you reading your own. Second, where does this chart contradict itself and which side leads? Every chart contradicts itself somewhere because every person does. The contradictions aren't errors in the method. they're where the person is. How deliberately a reading handles them is the best quality test you'll find. If this reframed a reading you've been given or an argument you've had about one, a tap on the like button tells me to keep pulling back the curtain on how readings get built. One boundary to hold while you weigh all this. However skilled the reader, a chart describes tendencies, not verdicts. Take any reading, including your own, as a mirror to check yourself against, never as a prophecy to obey. And when a decision carries real stakes, the chart is a conversation starter, not the deciding vote. The short version: the math of a chart is settled and identical everywhere. The reading is a set of choices layered on top: what to weight, which system, which orbs, and how to handle the chart's own contradictions. Two astrologers differ because their choices differ. The quality question is never whether choices got made. It's whether they got made on purpose. The chart in this video comes from Mystical Almanac, where every interpretation is authored with those conflicts settled before it reaches you. One voice all the way through. Free link in the description. There's plenty more of the craft to open up, one piece at a time. Subscribe so the next one shows up for you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.